74% of porn websites display adult content on their homepage. Why is that important to know? That's because kids don't have to spend an hour online going deeper and deeper and deeper into some sex website. It's the innocent searches and things like that they arrive at this site, and the explicit pornography is right there on the homepage for them to see. Nearly 2/3 of young men and 1/2 of young women agree that viewing porn is acceptable. Now, of those statistics, we don't know what the Christian version of that is, but for Christians, my experience has been that the statistics are about the same. Now, a Christian young man or woman might say, it's not something I want to do, but it's still something that in similar percentages they're engaged in. Nearly 9 out of 10 young men and 1/3 of young women report using pornography on a regular basis. This one is fascinating. 34%, people often ask, well, is this just a guy thing anymore? And the answer to that is no. 34% of female readers of Today's Christian Woman, this was done in 2003, admitted to intentionally accessing porn. Nearly 80% of unwanted exposure to porn is taking place in the home. And I believe that's not because we're malicious, it's not because we're stupid, it's not because we don't care, it's because it's overwhelming. And the pace of how technology is evolving and us being digital immigrants and our kids being digital natives, it's just moving so quickly, and so we need information. 20% of teens have sent text messages with nude or semi-nude pictures or videos of themselves. And there's a phrase that's talked about in the counseling field that there's no second chance when you do that. It's gone. And then look at 39% are sending or posting text messages that are sexually suggestive. And this is interesting. 25% report receiving nude or semi-nude text messages intended for someone else. So of those 20% that are sending them, there's a significant percentage that get forwarded. Hey, buddy, check this out. Man, you won't believe what so-and-so sent me. And it gets passed on. Now, here's the issue with that. There have been cases coming into the courts which are trying to prosecute children who are sending sexually explicit photographs of themselves for trafficking in child pornography. Because when those photos go out on the internet, they become available to who knows. And so when kids are doing this, they're not thinking of the consequences. Statistically, they're saying they're doing it to flirt, they're doing it for fun, they're doing it because they're bored, and they never thought through the consequences of, oh my gosh. 1 in 3 kids unintentionally viewed porn by age 10. Unintentionally, and we're going to talk about ways that that happens, but this is just a staggering statistic. And the tragedy is that once they're exposed to that, they get desensitized, and then God designed their bodies to respond to that, even though it's an unholy context, and there's profound confusion. And if we're not talking to our kids about that, they'll remain confused, and the ante will be upped for them to potentially develop addictions. 7 in 10 kids intentionally viewed porn by age 16. The average age of first exposure to porn is age 11. What is pornography? Before I forget, did everybody, a family unit, receive a video of somebody's daughter? Okay, I just want to talk about that a minute. That's a documentary that I was part of 3 years ago, and then it was released about 2 years ago. And I'm proud to say that it's won several awards. I don't make any money off of that, but I had a donor for my ministry donate the money, $1,000, so that those could be given away. And that is a wonderful multimedia video. There's a CD in it with 18 pop songs from artists like Clay Cross and Scott Crepane, who are talking about their own struggle with lust and pornography in these songs. There's also audio testimony and resources on the audio CD. And then the DVD is just men telling their stories. There's myself, there's a pastor, John and Shelley Manville. John has written 20 number 1 songs in Nashville for CCM. He's written songs for Point of Grace and Avalon. And he and his wife are in this video talking about how God healed their marriage and how this ravaged them. And then there's a businessman. And it's a very powerful video that I suggest if your kids are in junior high or above, you can sit down and watch it with them. Also, you can contact Dan Sarian, and I've written a 40-page group curriculum where you can go through, and there's a discussion guide that you can use with that video. So I didn't want to forget that. That's what that's about. It's just another resource. Let's talk about what pornography is. We're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. I was at Safeway the other day, and as I was walking to get some all Florida natural grapefruit juice late at night, there was the stack of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues right there. And I couldn't help but look at the cover, and there wasn't any kind of attraction to that, but what I recalled was being a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade student and using that as a kind of pornography to act out. Well, you can see any of that or the equivalent of that on the homepage of AOL or in the USA Today photo section on your iPhone. That's considered tame anymore. And so the pornography that I'm talking about and that our kids are being exposed to is graphic, explicit, it's deviant, it's dark, it's abusive, it's violating, it's violent, and it's perverse. And so this is not just bare bodies and smiling co-eds. It's really dehumanizing, degrading material that no kid has a category for to deal with. So there's 3 categories of pornography that we need to talk about. There's softcore pornography, and these are things that historically you can buy at a 7-Eleven, Penthouse, Playboy, things like that. And these are legal under harm to children laws in every state, and you have to be over the age of 18 to purchase them. And they're legal with certain restrictions. We won't say, talk about the morality, we're just talking about the legality of this. The second thing is hardcore pornography, and this is legally obscenity, and therefore in most states it's illegal, and of course the Supreme Court has tried to battle and define under Reagan and other situations what is pornography and what is obscenity. And I loved what they concluded. Does anybody remember? You know it when you see it, which is really kind of true. But hardcore pornography is actually illegal in most contexts, but not prosecuted. And hardcore pornography is what kids are being exposed to unintentionally and accidentally all the time. And then finally, there is child pornography, which is illegal to possess and distribute under every context. And you heard the statistics about how that is proliferating. And that means that more people are escalating and crossing lines, and it means that there are more kids that are being victimized. And as you heard in the video, and this is part of my passion for helping people be restored and heal from sexual brokenness, is that at a very young boy, age 5, I was victimized sexually and used in pornography. Boy, have things changed since then. How do kids access porn? I'm not trying to be cute with this kid, the little maybe 2-year-old on the computer. One of the saddest stories that I heard was a 5-year-old boy and his 2-year-old little sister, and mom was giving them a bath. And the boy said, Mommy, when we get in the tub, can I put my toy inside of my sister? And the mother, aghast, said, where in the world did you hear that, honey? And he said, I saw it on the computer last week. And so that's a cute picture, but little kids are being affected. The most abused age of kids within child pornography, if you can imagine it, is age 0, newborn infants, up to age 10. So oftentimes there's this idea that it's the sexy teen kind of thing who's adultified, and that's part of what's happening, but it's actually very, very young children. And here's how kids access porn.
We're seeing more and more of the unwanted exposure of kids to sexual content. So while the internet is being used for a lot of unlawful purposes, we think those are the areas where kids are at greatest risk.
When I first started getting my internet accounts or anything, I would get emails about sexual things like penis enlargements and stuff like that. Like, I'd be looking pictures up on Google and random, like, I'd be looking at the pictures and it'd be pictures of naked people.
Gaming's actually, like I said, what started getting me on the computer. It can give you a lot of viruses though. It's pretty bad. And some actually are like pornographic video games, and I do not recommend that at all, because it will get you wanting to look at the real thing because you're sick of the cartoon.
It started out with a pop-up, and then I told my friends about it, and then along with the chatting online and stuff like that, like a lot of my friends were already doing it. I just didn't know it. And you know, they're like, oh yeah, you should look at it and stuff like that, because I went to school and I was like, you know, I saw a pair of boobs online, and my friends were like, oh, for real? Like, all happy. And I was like, okay, I guess that's a good thing. So then from there, you know, I started checking it out more and getting more into it, and it led to me getting well addicted to it.
Even if you're not looking for it, you could be innocent. If you go on the computer, on the internet, and you're looking for something good, it will find you.
It will find you. Did you hear that? And did you hear the ambivalence and the incongruence for that 16-year-old boy who said he saw this stuff online? And you know, imagine that he grew up in a Christian home. Perhaps he did. I don't know. But he sees this nakedness, and he goes and tells his friends about it, kind of thinking there's something wrong with this, right? Like, there's the value of the parents, and there's the value of home. And, whoa, that's a good thing. And he says, that's a good thing? That's the secondhand smoke that begins to, I'm not just questioning mom and dad's values, but there's something in my body, my neurology in my brain, which is starting to be drawn toward this. And let's look at how kids are exposed to pornography in particular. One is through emails. We've all received, you know, bad emails. And sometimes you open these emails and specific images, pornographic images pop up. Some kids are sent emails from other friends, hey, look at this. And then also searches, innocent searches. That's the number one way that kids are exposed. And we'll talk a little bit more about the specific marketing, predatory, aggressive tactics of pornographers and how kids encounter it through searches.